Hi friends, welcome back. Thank you for being here today. Norm is downstairs resting. He's been working hard today too. He said to say hello. I've taken a long time to get all this ready. I guess I'm just blessed with so many fun things that I have a hard decision lately, figuring out what to do with what. There's so many ways you can arrange things that I guess I'm getting overwhelmed, but I do enjoy it. I really do. And I'm so thrilled to have found some very pretty new things here to share with you. I hope you've had a wonderful November so far. It's been snowing here all day. Ugh. It's here. It's finally here. Yep. And it's going to keep on for the next several days. Light snow. And it's going to be very cold in the 20s. So it's going to stick around. Yep. The last time we went to the Pink Squirrel, I found so many pieces of adorable old plastic floral candle rings and loved these two taper ones. Very, very happy to find them, and they're so inexpensive. It'd be like $1.99 for the pair, you know. It's just, I grabbed everything. I took them all, and I'll be showing them to you because they were all very fall looking. I love old plastic flowers. I don't show flowers very much, but for fall, I just can't resist. And then we went to a small antique shop that is so reasonable up north of us, not too far, around the Family Pathways area that we go to, like North Branch, Minnesota. And I was just saying to Norm in the car, we were coming home from Hinckley, Minnesota. I was just saying to him, I sure wish I could find some lucite candles. I just don't see them anywhere. So wouldn't you know, he says, do you want to go to this little shop that we only get to once a year? I said, yeah, I guess that would be nice if you don't mind the time, because it was getting late, it was getting dark out, but he decided to stop, and here was a pair of, they have the metallic gold and silver flakes in them. Oh, that's funny. Did you see that? I was actually filming it in the mirror. I was wondering why it was so far away. Oh, that's funny. Very funny. Well, anyways, there is gold. So they were in a pair of elaborate gold Sirocco type candle holders, which I donated. I don't need them. They're pretty elaborate. These are way more fun to me. So, yep, I bought the set, you know, of candle holders and everything just to get the candles. And I did tell the lady there too that I was thrilled, because I was just telling Norm how much I want some lucite candles. And then we decided to go to another shop in the same town. It was not much time left before they closed and dark out, but Norm said, oh, it looks like they're still open. Should we go in? I said, yeah, we haven't been here for a year. Another small shop. Would you believe it? I looked up high on the wall. There was a early American eagle designed clock, plastic clock with an eagle on it, and two sconces that match with 4 orange lucite candles in them, the smaller ones. I had my mouth wide open. I'm going, oh, Norm, look up. Oh my goodness. Oh, So it was I think it was like $38 for this great big clock, 2 double sconces, and 4 lucite candles. Oh my goodness. I was thrilled. So you will see them in the living room. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Let's move on. Norm and I have been having way too much fun going to Wild Vintage Collective in Fridley, Minnesota. It is not very far from us, so it's really, really tempting to go there and see what's been brought out that's new. I'm also following them on Instagram, and they post pictures quite often of all the different booths. And there are so many, and they're expanding again for the second time into another whole area and planning what they called a soft opening, December 7th, I think they said. Yeah, so we're very excited to go back at that time. But yeah, we've really found a lot of very, very nice things and very good prices often. The birds were from there. So you will be hearing me pointing out a lot of things that we've recently purchased from this wonderful retro antique mall, vintage mall, I should say. They probably have some antique things in there too, but it's very, very mid-century, which we love. I have so many pretty things, I admit. What I did buy there recently was this absolutely gorgeous pair of very tall, mid-century modern, I'd say cranes, that's what they were calling them on the internet. They are so beautiful. There's a lot of gold on them. They are a creamy color. I think I just looked it up and I did find it. There was no identification. It just said mid-century modern from the 50s. My floor is squeaking out here. Sorry about that. But anyways, they sold one for $50. These are so big and they are so gorgeous. When I saw them, this was $15 each. They're really, really big and heavy. I was so tickled. Norm's always seeing me walking down an aisle in an antique mall carrying a bird in each hand, or one. I'm very happy to find just one too, and I also did purchase 2 single ones yesterday at the same place. My sister, Melissa, gave me 2 of these bottles. And I don't remember if it was in the springtime or last winter. I can't remember. And I may have shown them last fall. I can't remember that either. But they are Wheaton Glass Company bottles from the 50s. And she was very kind to give them to me. I really like them. And what I did, as you can see, I added a votive to the top. So I don't know, I suppose they came with a cork in them. They are a very nice couple of bottles. I do like the votives in them. I think that's a very fun thing to do. In any genie bottle, you can do that and do something different other than having a stopper in it. Sometimes people buy, you know, genie bottles that don't have a stopper anymore. So that works nice. Thank you, Melissa. Now, I just purchased these. We went to Hinckley, Minnesota last week, and they are vintage Tiffany satin glass Amberina candle holders. It is hard to see, but if you put these in light, in a lighted window, you would see that they are definitely, you know, yellow orange, or I should say more orange, and a deep orange. You know, the typical colors of Amberina. So I haven't really been all that interested in satin glass all this time because I like things to be shiny, but these were very, very attractive to me, and Norm loves Amberina glass, so he highly approved of the idea of purchasing these because they were very reasonable. They're pretty pricey on the internet, but we got a really, really good deal on them at this very nice antique mall in Hinckley, Minnesota. So this I have shown before. It is a beautiful wide vase. I'm using it for some people that wrote a lot about this. I will read it to you. They thought there was a top for it, but I have never noticed that when I have looked this up. This is by Wayne Husted, and I have mentioned that before. I have other pieces by him too. So let me go get Norm's phone where I took a photograph of their long description. I think you would like to hear about Wayne Husted. Okay, this is what this person wrote that is selling this same vase. He said, a classic mid-century modern design from Wayne Husted. American glass artisan. This is a tall textured relief abstract floral art glass footed vase. I believe it had a top lid at one time researching comparative examples. Antigua, A-N-T-I-G-U-A series, inspired by popular Spanish-style glass of the era. Vintage post blanco work, collaborating with the Stelvia Society. It is a very, very nice piece, and I think I stole it for like $12 quite a few years ago, and it was very, very expensive now. So yes, I'm really blessed to have picked up these things. I knew nothing about Wayne Husted and very little about identifying any Blanco glass when I purchased that. So that is what is on the buffet here. Let me go back over here. A new purchase yesterday is the owl picture on the right. Now, I should have Googled these, but they are very retro, and I've had the one on the left for many years. It is all plastic design, the tree and the owls, and a plastic frame. And then, as you can tell, this is a copper backing on it. And I spotted this yesterday way high up on the wall in one of the rooms, one of the many wonderful rooms at Wild Vintage Collective. And it was so high up, and the tag was turned over on it, so I did not know what they were going to ask for it. Sorry about the glare there. But you can see the eyes are cut away, so you can see into the copper. Spooky, huh? I just have always loved the one I had with the 2 owls. So even when I spotted this, I thought it was different than mine, but I couldn't remember that I had 2 owls. I knew there was a pair. I actually had run across a picture years ago, probably, that showed that this was a pair. So I can't tell you how happy I am that I finally ended up with the mate. And it looks like it's probably the male, big guy. And this looks more like, well, could be a female and a baby. Who knows, but that's the way I'm going to think of it. Aren't they sweet? I'm very happy. And I thought it would be very fun to show you down here instead of saving them for my owl bedroom because of the acorns and fall looking oak leaves on that. I put some gold mirrors back up here. I had more black and gold ones that I showed you for the Halloween entrance video, but these were 2 new finds. I'll try to zoom in nicely here. This one is a little fancier. I think I did show it on our door one time, but this is very, very sparkly. I don't think I've shown it yet. It is heavy. It's metal. It is not a plastic mirror. I was thrilled when Norm said, yeah, that's pretty nice. So it's a lot bigger than the plastic mirrors that I've been thrifting. So over here, I don't believe I've shown you these. I have had them for decades when Norm and I first started collecting lucite napkin holders and flower bouquets, anything we could find in lucite. So we purchased these for very, very little, way, way back in the early 2000s. So one is lighter than the other, which makes it nicer. So they're not identical looking then. And they fit very nicely. I had 2 owl plaques here for Halloween. So I was happy to swap out these for fall. I'm sorry again about our goofy looking alarms, little cheapo alarms, but they do work. And that is the light out in the front entrance. I had this vintage Hong Kong corn fall looking wall hanging here last year. I do love it. And I had it hanging the long way. Thought it would be fun to turn it this way. I just added a couple little things in here. It's the same as my fall video or Halloween video. This is a vintage flocked pheasant poke. Hope it's not going out of focus there. Had it for a very long time. Yes, both of them are plant pokes. This is a vintage Taiwan pumpkin. I just cut them because they just don't work well every time I've tried for years to put them in a taller vase. They're not long enough, for one thing, for all my tall vases. So I'm much happier cutting them off. It was just a wire and putting them in something shorter. That serves me much better. So let's go look at this wild collection over here. This might be overkill, but I just have a lot of fun. I had all my little ceramic hobbyist turkeys down here last year. And the year before, I don't know, did we have Thanksgiving the year before? I don't know if we had this shelf up. I don't think so. But anyways, I didn't want to put the turkeys on the same shelf. So I opted for these fun vases. I do have some new ones. This green one is newer. And this I just found, the green, light green one. And that orange one is newer. I'm certain it's not vintage. But it was so tiny and so cute, I couldn't resist it. I thrifted it. Now this, I forgot to take my little note out of here. Isn't this adorable? So cute. I just wanted to make sure I did not forget that it was a gift from Selena, a wonderful gal who sent me the most gorgeous turquoise large mid-century bird statues that I showed probably for summer or Easter. I forget. Probably summer. Yeah, they were absolutely gorgeous. So I have shown them. Absolutely love them. And then she followed up and had found me a beautiful tall red bird. And I do not think I've shown you that yet. So that will be for winter because I use a lot of red. But thank you again, Selena. That was really sweet to send that. And I also had another vase that has more blue on it from Jennifer Dawson. That was sweet of Jennifer too. She sent us a box full of goodies. Very, very generous of Jennifer Dawson. So thank you again, Jennifer, for your kind gifts. These are some of the others, and I believe I have not shown this, what looks more like a California type vase. The others are all hobbyist and they have, you know, initials on the bottom, but this is very, very different. It's the tallest one I have, and I was thrilled to find it. So it is fun to add it into this collection. And this I just thrifted for, I don't know, it was like 59 cents or something at Bibles for Missions, the orange one. It's tiny, but so sweet. I was so excited to find that. So I don't think you've seen that one yet because that was just a couple months ago. And I think these might be new to you. I don't believe I've shown this wild yellow one. So my collection grows. I do have more, but they either have much more turquoise or blues on them, and I'll save those for Easter. So I do really enjoy playing around with things on this lovely shadow box that we are fortunate to have. Well, have you ever seen so many turkeys? I know, it's probably crazy, but they're fun. The middle row is all candles though, and they are all vintage. So instead of putting them downstairs in the front entrance, Norm put them all up here for me. And I just moved them around a little bit. Put a couple of them looking at each other instead of all being lined up like the bottom row is still. These three are, well, they're facing a little angled there. They're so different, and I just think they're so fun. Such a variety of glazes. That one's really pretty. So I did match the other side to this instead of putting two of those together because they are taller than 2 of those. And I'd say the 2 little ones that I have in the middle there, those 2 may be newer candles. Yeah, I don't know how vintage they would be. Maybe not. But I know these others are, and I did find out that this all orange pear is vintage. Let me turn one of those over so I can remind myself who did that. The cardboard bottoms on the bottom of those say Norcrest Heirloom. The original price was 75 cents, made in USA. But I've always thought this more black one, taller one, it's the tallest one I have, except for a huge one downstairs in the dining room that we just purchased this year. I don't know who made that one, but it's very cool, and I've never seen a second one. That's okay, you need one odd one. So that matches the other side. Like I mentioned, these are all colored darker. That's really neat. I like it when they have black in them, instead of being all orange and brown. This one's really very different. The only all black, almost all black one that I have. And I like that one. I probably shouldn't have had them on the lacy doily on the bottom, but that's okay. If I put vintage glassware items up here, I don't use that lace because the bottoms of the glass pieces are nice and clean. They're not all weird like with cardboard on some of these and some not. You would see through the shelf from downstairs that they all have odd looking bottoms. But with glassware, you don't need that doily there to cover them up. You want to be able to get as much light on the glass as possible. So let's go see what's over the rest of upstairs here. I gotta get up off of this step here. It's funny how everything ends up at such a crazy angle when you have your camera tilted. I decided to turn off the light that is, well, we actually have 2 light fixtures in the hall here. They're very, very bright. And that's probably my fault. Back in 2018, I asked Norm to keep putting brighter light bulbs in everything because I needed cataract surgery. And I couldn't believe how I kept saying, I need more light, I need more light. So I don't think I need all that light anymore. When I try to do videos in the front entrance and up here, it is really, really bright. So I'm just trying a little bit of light from the rooms instead of directly over my head. I did show these at Halloween on our dining table. And the lucite candles actually were ones that were in a mod grape cluster looking holder, pretty common with metal accents. So I thought I'd just put these up here because I do have a few owls that I'm showing. It's a little hard to see this crazy owl necklace. I decided just to hang up there because it happens to be the biggest one I have. It is really huge, and he does have amber eyes. Very amber. There you go. quite textured. It was very fun. I got them really reasonable. An antique mall. They probably think, it's not going to be very popular. People just aren't wearing things like that. I did find a couple of these grape clusters. They are normally in the oranges, and I have them in the living room. 3 clusters that have gold and orange color, but I happened to find these 2 red ones, and then I found a clear one, which I thought would be very fun for January. This is a nice amber glass piece, and I'm not going to try to tell you what they're called. There's just too many things that I can't remember. It's hard to be an expert on all the glass, who made this and who made that. So I will not bother. This is slag glass, and I did have a lighter colored one that wasn't quite so see-through. It was very caramely with beautiful swirls like that with white glass mixed in. I kind of wish we hadn't bought this guy. He's so dark that I decided to fill him full of as many little votives as I could get in there. So that's kind of crazy looking, but I just thought I would put him up here because I'm going to show you just one more owl over to my right. And we still have the clock up here, my favorite. It is not running right now. I don't want it running because it's electric. So let's go look at the table to my right. I decided to put the flash light on the camera here, even though I have candles lit and it looks okay without it. It's a little bit darker, but you can see the pretty amber glass better. I had last year at the top of the stairs here, I had the swan and the biggest Empoli. Oh, it's called Optic, that design, but I honestly don't know exactly what they call these shapes. Like a brandy sniffer type design. This one is new. It is much, much smaller. It has a very, very tiny, skinny stem on it. So fragile. But I thought it would be very fun because it was so reasonable. So I knew I had the big one, and I think this one was newer, earlier in the year. That was very reasonable too, and I was glad that I at least had 3, but just a week ago, it was just actually a couple days back, we went back because I told Norm I had seen the one on the left here in the store, and it was also very reasonable too. So I thought, well, that's a real deal, but I didn't have the measurements of the other 3, and I knew it was plainer. This is not really an optic design like these fancy ones, so I cannot say that these are Empoli. I honestly don't know. But what's really different about this, I was happy for one thing, that it is shorter than the one on the right. So that made me happy. I did go there not knowing the measurements. Just took a chance. It is cut kind of sharp on the top. Maybe some of you are very familiar with certain glass makers and who might have done that versus if all 3 of these are Empoli. They're very finished on the top. This one has a wonderful little design on the top edge. And of course, this one is really fancy. But you can see this is a little plainer, but very finished, very thin. So that's quite a difference, being a very flat cut and actually a little sharp on the inside edge. I don't think I would run my finger on that. But I thought it would be fun to put some orange votives in there. And over here, I just can't remember, but I think I thrifted this. It was in, oh, it was not clean. It was in tough shape. It is copper and brass combination. You can see how orange it is. It does have a little bit of a crease there. I spent some time bending this and that. The cattails are wood. I really like these fun bird mod little plaques. This is also brass, so it does have a lot of different shades going on. I don't know how they tarnish it when they make it, but I'll assume those are geese or ducks. Hard to tell, but I'm going to go with geese. I don't know. They got pretty long necks. See, I don't think a duck would be made like that. And I decided to put a votive in it instead of a candle. If you're going to put a candle in there, the nicest ones, of course, would be lucite, but most lucite candles are very, very tall, and they would go all the way up into the ducks. I did check that out, and it doesn't look good. So the votive works very well. So that was a very, very inexpensive find, and I did work with bending the wings on the geese. As a matter of fact, the two bottom geese, their wings were kind of tangled. It was a little weird. So I got it looking all right. I'm happy. I just love finding things really cheap and then trying to fix them up. Yeah. I probably haven't shown this Miller Studio plaque for a long time. I have had it for decades, and I also fixed it up too. It seems like, I don't know, 3/4 of the things that I end up buying, I've got to tweak it here or there, touch things up with paint or whatever, glue things. It's always something I got laying on the kitchen table to fix. The couple of the birds had kind of like a mold look. I don't know if you can see a difference right there, where I had to paint over some black spots on a couple of the birds. It was very tacky looking, and I had to mix the paint, and the paint ended up dull. It was just tester's paint, but I was trying to mix up a little bit. So of course, when I put it on them, it was a little bit on the dull side. So Norm just recently sprayed them for me with the clear coat, Rust-Oleum clear. So it brought the shine back on them. So they're fixed up. They're quite old. I think it's a Miller Studio plaque from the 50s. I didn't check out their tails to see what that says. But I also decided to paint a very tarnished looking gold wire with copper. That was done many years ago. I painted it copper. So I like it. I'm happy with it. Now over here, we had gone back to get that last glass piece on the left just this past weekend. And they were having a sale. So this bird here, I decided to take. I had seen it before, and I do have 2 pairs in gold in the living room that I will be showing you. But this one was copper, and I did see it in this booth where I've bought 2 pairs of birds now. Well, no, 1 pair of bird from this guy's booth. 1 pair of blackbirds that are just gorgeous. I was so happy to find them. And I didn't get a chance to show them to you because it was after Halloween, and that's when I tend to use blackbirds. But I saw it there, and it was like $15. And then it was on sale. I think we got 20% off or something. So I picked it up and decided, yep, that's where I want a bird like this, is on the shelf. I really wasn't sure what I was going to put up here because last year I showed you 4 fairy lamps in amber. So this year I was thrilled to find these doves. They are ceramic for $1. Was it $1.59? I'll have to look up my picture again to make sure I get the right price in there. Unbelievable. Or no, I remember now. They were 99 cents each. I was so shocked. They were just in the, figurine aisle. And they're both different. They're just adorable when you have them down low on a table, but I needed the birds up here. I needed something that wasn't black birds or white birds, something smaller. So they are ceramic, and there's like some initials in the bottom, or it says something. It's a small word. I can't figure out what it is, and I did not take the time to try to find them. But they are so sweet. See, one's got the tail up and the other one is just looking up. But they're really beautiful down on a ledge. And I tried them in the living room on the mantle, and Norm just didn't feel like it was doing much down there. So that's when I started deciding, okay, I'm going to try to put something together for this shelf up here. And then I said, there's this copper-colored, oops, I almost dropped my phone. There's this copper-colored bird up there at Wild Vintage Collective. I'd like to go get that. And I know exactly where I'm going to put it, right here. So I did grab it, and I was very surprised. It is lightweight ceramic, and it's hollow. Very lightweight, so that is very nice then to put on a shelf like this, being lightweight. The ones downstairs that you commonly see in gold, they're heavy, and they're solid Sirocco plastic, but very heavy. So this is completely different, and what's unique now too is that I asked Norm, even though it's been 20-some degrees outside, if he would please spray it for me quick out in the garage, or he ended up doing it in the basement with an exhaust fan on. He sprayed it with the gloss, again, the clear gloss, because that bird was flat. It was very dull. So I washed it up real good, and now you can see it has a nice shine on it to look more ceramic. Yeah, I'm not crazy about dull ceramics. That worked out well. The owl is gold. That is also Sirocco vintage owl. I have 2 of them, but I wish they had been different. They're both identical. It's very hard to use them for bookends. I thought I could use them for bookends, but it wasn't real great. I turned the light back on up above just to show you there might be a difference in seeing some details here on these birds. it's kind of hard to know what to do. I'm an amateur filmer, so I just don't always know what's going to work best, but that's with the bright light on. Now down here, I want to show you something different that I had Norm do again. I'm always having Norm switch things around. I bought this clock at, I talked Norm into it, at the Pink Squirrel last year. I absolutely love it. It's kind of sticking out there with the wire frame that's bigger. And I cleaned it all up and got it where it was looking very, very nice and fresh. I think we took it apart and Norm did spray paint it for me because it was looking a little rusty here and there. So it's quite freshened up. Yep, we took that all apart. It wasn't hard. Now, what I had moved up there, there's my legs. What I had moved up there was this mirror. Great big triangle mirror that we bought a long time ago. So this was down here for quite a few years, and then I told Norm I wanted him to move it way up here. Better back out again. So he did that, and we had it up there for a while, but you see the angle on the mirror here? It's very, very steep because that's such a huge diamond. So when we had it up there against the angle of that shelf, it was quite a different angle. It kind of bothered me a little bit. And I had a little gold shelf down there, so we had swapped the two around and it worked out just fine. So I knew that the nails were going to be fine, and they were. That one is exactly where it used to be, and this was something else up here, or it was a new one that we had put in for the big mirror when we moved it up. So I knew we wouldn't have to do anything special, just swap them around. So he did that for me, and I'm really happy. I know nobody needs a lot of clocks, and it's not running. I don't care. I don't want it running. I don't want to use electricity, but I really admire these old, in particular, reticulated metal. Particular and reticulated, that's a little tricky to say together, isn't it? So I hope you think that is fun. I love black. I can't help it. I'm just very attracted to this very cool old 60s designs with metal. I don't know what it is, but that's me. I would say Norm likes it too. He's pretty easygoing when it comes to my decorating. I think he likes the look of all the crazy 60s things. So that is the upstairs. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go on to the living room. I'm sorry, this is going to be a long video. Do you think I should cut it off here? I don't know. It's hard to keep you waiting, and I know a lot of people do like long videos, and I do talk a lot, but hope you don't mind. I just enjoy these things so much, so I can't help but want to share my thoughts about them and any knowledge that I might have. Well, my friends, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I did decide that the living room filming that I had done is going to make this video way too long, so I will be doing it in another video very soon. So I hope you will come back to see the new things that we've found for fall decor. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope your Thanksgiving is blessed. I would love to hear if you are celebrating. It would be fun to hear from you in the comments, and we appreciate all of them. Thank you for being such wonderful, kind supporters. We appreciate you so much. Please give us a thumbs up too if you can. That helps us to grow. Take care, and we'll see you really soon.